Okay, welcome back. We're at chapter 16. I'm going to show you a technique. Okay, so I'm going to apply this to myself using this little tool right here, this little treatment device. Okay, it's plastic and it's designed after my hand. Okay, so there's these large prongs that will press in different parts. We'll go through everything. So in this chapter, basically, I'm going to show you how to extract stress. A couple things you need to know. All the stress that you've ever experienced in your life is still stuck in your body. It has to come out. And these body acupressure points that you're going to work on would be considered the epicenter of most of the stress in your body. And there's several of these points, and you're going to work on them each night. And over the years, over 29 years, I've ran into so many different scenarios of what works and what doesn't work. And you're going to learn the key things that work best and that produce the most change with the least amount of time. All right, let's get to it. Okay, so this is the secret little treatment device that you'll use, and you can see it has different widths here, okay, for different size people, and I'm going to take the widest, and I'm going to put it right in the back of my skull on a tall back chair or a couch, and I'm going to lean back and let gravity do the work. And this device mimics my hand. This is what I used to do with people all day long. Press my two fingers behind the neck and hit these points. And you talk about full body relaxation, you'll just want to take a nap in about 30 seconds. And you just make sure the pressure is equalized left and right side, right underneath the skull. And this is stimulating all sorts of receptors for full body relaxation. In your body, there's a system called the parasympathetic nervous system. Guess where it's located? Right there. And that is the system that's responsible for rest and digestion. It also triggers a nerve called the vagus nerve that goes to the entire body. So it will just help turn off the flight or fight mechanism. Okay, so that's one technique. Okay, next one is a little lower. We're going to lower this about to the middle of part of the neck. Okay, so we're at the top part of the neck, now we're at the middle part. And you just drop it down a little bit, and then lean back and let gravity do its work. This is going to put the curve back in your neck. So many people have a reverse curve. So this puts pressure on a lot of tension in the neck. And when the curve is there, your neck can act as a spring. So here you are carrying your head, which is like the size of a bowling ball, the weight of a bowling ball, on a straight neck. You want a nice curve like a spring, so you have some resiliency. So you just hit the sweet spot and lean back and you'll feel really good. Now if you have a sore throat, do this technique on the sore throat. It'll go away like that. Last point to remember is that if this makes you feel worse, okay, chances are you had a whiplash injury that you hit from the back. So your neck whipped back, and I wouldn't do this technique. I would do another technique I'll get to in a bit. But the point is that if you're in a whiplash from the rear end, it might be uncomfortable going back because that's the way your neck was injured. You'd want to stretch going the other way, okay? I'll show you that. It's called the occiput technique in just a moment, okay? So that's the middle neck technique. Now we're going to go down to the lower part of the neck, the very lower part, okay? That's like at C6. And you're going to lean back and really hit the points in the lower neck. So many people have a problem with this area of the neck because it's right where the neck joins the upper back, and there's a lot of tension there for a lot of people. This is one that you do if you have laryngitis, or you're a singer and your voice is cracking, because if the vocal cords are here and you draw a line back and you stimulate the back part, you can actually improve circulation to the vocal cords. You won't believe it until you do it. And when you do it, you'll be like, wow, that really does work. I can't even convince people unless they do it, and then they're like, okay, that really works. So now the next thing is you're going to use the narrowest part here, and this is called the occiput. This is the part if you were involved in a rear end collision, you would definitely do this and not the other ones, unless the other ones make you feel better. But this one tends to do the reverse. Your skull is attached to your neck, by ligaments. Okay, so what we're going to do is stretch the ligaments. I'll show you how to do it. We're going to take these two little points and stick it up underneath the skull. Tuck your head forward a little bit, and then just kind of lean back. So we're basically tractioning out our skull from our neck, creating a space. Okay, so just don't do this in public. Just mention my name at the same time, because it looks weird. But I'm just stretching. This works great. You can do it on your bed, with a pillow, or even on a couch. But you want to just traction the neck forward. This gives people a lot of relief, a tremendous amount of relief, okay? It's called the occiput technique. All right? Just from that little bit, I want to take a nap. Let me just take a nap, and I'll see you in the next video. No, just kidding. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is the mid-back point. Now, for this one, you might need help, but what I like to do is I take the medium point, and we're going to stimulate the mid-back portion. You can do this on your bed, because this will be, your bed's soft, and the mattress, it'll squish down, and you can lay back on these points in an inch from lower to upper. But we want to do the entire mid-back, one segment at a time. Now, in your mid-back, on the left and the right, about an inch to the left and to the right, which is these points right here, you're going to be stimulating something called the sympathetic nervous system. That is where the flight or flight mechanism is located, in addition to your adrenal glands. So when you do this, it's going to create a tremendous amount of calmness, okay? And I do it before I go to sleep. Bam. By the time I get done, I'm ready. I'm just out. In fact, sometimes I'll fall asleep while I'm doing it. So I'll take this, place it behind my back, okay, at the lower part of my mid-back, okay, not the very lower part of my lower back, the part of my mid-back where the ribs stop. I'm going to put it there, and I'm going to stretch back, okay, go forward. And you can even, when you lay on it, it'll put pressure on these key spots. So I'll go back and forth if I'm sitting, and I'll raise it up a little bit. I'll do the same thing over again. And so I'm putting pressure on the left and right side of my spine, okay? And I'm going to raise it up more. Do it again. Okay, it's already feeling really good. Of course, I would, for time's sake, I would do it a lot longer if I was just doing it without demonstrating. So I'm a little bit higher. Now I'm going to reach back and really hit those points in my back, and it feels really good. Now at this point, it's going to be really hard to do a little higher up, so you probably need someone's help to position it from the top going down, or just laying on your bed so you can actually position your body over these points. Okay, but you get the gist of it. We're just going to lean back and forward and stretch. There's also a ligament on the front part of your spine called the anterior longitudinal ligament. Okay, that ligament gets really tight and it holds you in a hunched position. Doing this stretch helps reverse that and gives you tremendous amounts of like motion in your upper back. So that's a really important stretch. Okay, the other technique we're going to show you is underneath the clavicle. These are collarbones, okay? So we'll take the wide one and we'll place it right up underneath here, okay? And we press in there while we stretch our head back, while I'm lifting this up. So we kind of hook it right up underneath the collarbone and stretch back this way. Now I like to alter the location too to get different spots, but there's a lot of ligaments and muscles underneath the clavicle that people never have ever even massaged or addressed. It's a point of a lot of tension, especially if you're involved in a whiplash injury. Okay, this will give you so much relief. I've had people, and you can take the one little thing and just go more on the outside here and stretch that really good on both sides. If you've been in a whiplash injury and your neck has been stiff ever since and you do this, you may find that you have full range of motion. It's quite miraculous when you do this on people that have old whiplash injuries from the front or the back, because when you whip your neck back, you create scar tissue up underneath that clavicle, which then can hold that position stuck so your head is like in a forward position. So Very important, but very neglected. All right? Now let's show you how to do the adrenal points. These are very, very important. Now, are you actually working on the actual adrenals? No, you're not. The adrenals are deep inside the abdomen, right on top of the kidney, and there's a tremendous amount of tissue between the adrenals and the outside of the skin, especially if you have a belly. But here's what you're going to do. You're going to work on the soft tissue on top of this area of your body, and there's all sorts of acupressure points you're going to trigger. Acupressure points are basically a connection from the outside of the surface of the skin to the inside of the body. So you're really triggering these acupressure points that tend to help improve the circulation to the adrenals and the related organs. And as you press, starting from the lower points, about an inch to the right of your belly button, okay, and work slowly up towards the rib cage underneath your right rib cage, and then you'll start on the left side, an inch to your left of your belly button, and you're going to slowly work up these points. You're going to release a lot of tension. Now, you're going to have to adjust the pressure to your tolerance, but this is where a lot of people have tightness and spasm, but it will give them a tremendous amount of relief. What I like to do is take the massage tool and slightly shift it to the left and right to find the epicenter of that point, which accumulates most of the stress. Now, as you work up, if there's no tension or no discomfort, then you don't have a problem with this, okay? I wouldn't even do it. But inevitably, most people will have tension and stress at some point as you go up through these adrenal channels. And once you find it, go ahead and spend more time on that particular point, that point of tension, until it fully relaxes. And this is where I probably spend more than a minute. I'll spend 2 or 3 minutes on these points. But I'll tell you, if you do this right before bed, you're going to be going to sleep at night. So in summary, go ahead and apply all 7 of these techniques. You may find that you might only need to do 2 or 3 of them because they give you the most relief, but that's totally fine. But use these as necessary, and I will see you in the next chapter, chapter 17, on exercise. See you there.